versus copper. The PEX versus copper debate is over. Here's the winner. It's the biggest debate in modern plumbing, and today we're settling it once and for all. PEX versus copper. Now, for the homeowner or DIYer, making the right choice here can mean the difference between a 50-year plumbing system and a catastrophic failure in as little as 5 years. For the professional plumber, understanding the pros and cons of each material is critical to your reputation and your profitability. So we're breaking down everything you need to know right now. So first of all, the cost. Okay, we understand that, look, PEX is a lot cheaper, 50 cents to $2 per foot, where copper is $2 to $8 per foot. Now, there's a big cost difference there, but you've also got to look at the labor cost. When you look at the fact that you can really probably install PEX about 25% of the time that it takes to install copper, there's a big difference there. You're going to save money on the material and you're going to save time on labor. That's a big cost difference. And when you look at that whole thing, that tells you right there, when it comes to cost, PEX is the clear winner. But now let's talk about the pros and cons, because copper's long history versus PEX's resistance to corrosion and freezing, well, there's a lot of things there though. But you've got to worry about things. What about the PEX? What if it was left out in the sun for a long time at the laydown yard? You've got to worry about possible UV degradation. Now, we don't know when we get it. When it's delivered to the shop, when we go pick it up at the supply house, we don't know how long it's laid out in the yard, how long it was in the back of a truck exposed to direct sunlight. So things like UV degradation can be a problem. But now also, what about rodent damage? How many of you plumbers in here, and leave me a comment down below and tell me, how many of y'all have ever gone to a house where a little rat chewed through it? Okay, so look, when it comes to copper and PEX, those are things that can happen. And there's different types, there's different colors, there's PEX A, PEX B. You've got to know what you're looking at. Copper, you've got hard copper, you've got soft copper. They're all easy to work with and they all work great in the right situation. But the good thing is, I've seen rats eat through this a lot, but I've never seen a rat or a mouse or any critter eat through a copper water line. Now, does that mean you're never going to have rodent problems? No. I've had them eat through a PVC shoe on a tub drain. So copper's probably the winner here. It's designed to last 50 years. And to be honest, I've seen it last even longer. Can it leak? Can it get holes in it? Can things happen? Absolutely. But I've seen leaks on PEX too. So that can go either way, but I truthfully think copper is probably your best decision here. Now, installation speed. Now, I know we looked at this in the cost, but installation speed and ease side by side, I got to tell you, copper sweat joints versus a PEX crimp connection, there's no comparison. It takes longer to prep, clean, and sweat the copper. Now, this is great because if you're a DIYer or you're a pro, this is something you can learn to do. I've seen some DIYers that soldered great. I've seen some professional plumbers that don't even know how to solder. Guys, you've got to look at what's best for you, and I completely understand that. But to me, at the end of the day, copper's a little bit longer to install, but I think the longevity of the product to me and the history of it makes it worth it. Now, number 4, health and water quality. Now, there are common concerns about chemicals leaching from PEX, but then you've got to worry about copper corrosion. Hey, have you seen it where the plumber didn't wipe off his flux and you go look at it and it's turning green, it's oxidized, things like that? To be honest, you got to think about what's best. I once had a client with acidic well water that had eaten completely through their copper pipes in areas in just 12 years. Now, we repiped it with PEX and they've never had that problem again. But on the other hand, I've worked on 100-year-old buildings with the original copper under it that still looks in perfect condition. Context is everything. The verdict, well, here's the deal. There really is no single winner. It depends on what you're using it for. The best choice depends on the specific application, the water quality, the budget, and the local codes. Here's the thing. Use PEX for a residential home where you know that there's good water. You've still got to worry about the leaching and things like that. Use PEX for acidic water, well water, things like that. Copper, I like copper, me personally, for commercial jobs where a lot of it's exposed. I like copper because of the longevity of it. If I were building my house, I would use copper without a doubt. And I've had other plumbers tell me the exact same thing. Because guys, remember, okay, PEX is resistant to corrosion and mineral buildup. It has flexibility, and it's generally more resistant to freeze damage, making it good for hard water and for very cold climates. Here in Texas, we can now loop it through the attic where we used to would not do that with copper. But copper has natural antimicrobial properties and is very durable, but it can corrode in acidic water, potentially leaching copper into the water. Now, you've got to worry about the plastics leaching into the water on PEX. I understand that. But the copper leaching into the water too could be a health concern for a small percentage of the population. Both can leach tiny amounts of chemicals into the water, with PEX potentially leaching from its plastic composition and copper from its corrosion. As you can see, being a top tier pro isn't about having a favorite material. It's about having the deep knowledge to choose the right material for every single job. This level of understanding is what separates the average plumber from the expert that clients trust and pay top dollar for. Now, we just scratched the surface today. In my Becoming a Better Tradesman course, we have entire modules dedicated to advanced material knowledge. Guys, you need to know about it. You need to understand water quality and why it's important. You need to understand how to diagnose problems that turn you into the undisputed expert in your area. But if you're ready to go beyond a chart and truly master your craft, check out my course, gang. Everything you need to learn mentally to help get you in a position to be the best tradesman that you can be. Guys, if you want a free PDF to help you get better, down in the description, download my 15 smart steps to grow from starter to standout. I promise you it'll help.